Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're doing a quick audio check for the webinar before we get started. If you can use the questions field just to let us know that you can hear us and that the audio is clear, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining the webinar. We may give it one more minute for a few more attendees. It looks like we have quite a few already, but don't want to force people to jump in halfway through. All right, welcome everyone. My name is John Wells. I'm the Director of New Business Development and Innovation at the College of Global Studies. And we're really excited today to be introducing Intern Philly, our newest program, to all of you. This webinar will probably go about 30 minutes or so. If you have questions during the webinar, please feel free to type them in. We have all of your audio muted. And we will address questions at the end of the webinar itself. But let me have my co-presenters introduce themselves as well now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Rogers. I'm a program manager here at the College of Global Studies. I've been working with Arcadia for a little over 8 years now, helping students to go abroad on our programs around the world. And I'm really excited to be part of this new program that we have here right in our backyard.
Hi, and I'm Tim Barton. I'm the Director of Student Life here at the College of Global Studies, but I'll also be serving as the launch director for the Intern Philly program and our new center site in Philadelphia. So I'm excited for what's to come.
All right, so Arcadia University and the College of Global Studies brings a great deal of global experience to offering internships. We've offered internships, I think we started in London over 30 years ago, and really are taking a lot of that experience we know around the world and bringing it here to Philadelphia, not only for our own Arcadia students, but also for students through our partner universities throughout the U.S. Really, the core elements of an Arcadia internship include our INPR course, Work in Thought and Action. This course, which is will be offered in Philadelphia as well as everywhere else we do internships, frames the learning that takes place and provides reflection for the students. So we don't grant credits for the internship, we grant credits for the courses taken. And that INPR is really a core component of what we do. We'll also, and we'll talk about this, Mary will talk about this a little bit more, work closely with students throughout the resume and job placement process and source placements in a wide variety of fields. And again, these elements reflect everywhere that we're doing internships, so we're bringing that expertise home to Philadelphia. Our pedagogy around internships is most importantly, credit requires reflection and connecting an internship to an academic framework. These really meet, and I'll talk about this a little bit more, NACE guidelines around getting students to understand the learning that is taking place and making those very deliberate connections between the classroom and the workplace. Second element is really using the city as a classroom, something that our courses in London, in Rome, in Barcelona, take full advantage of getting students out into the city. And we will be doing the same thing in Philadelphia. All of the courses will be held in Center City, so not up here. Those familiar with where Arcadia is at, we're about 10 miles north of Center City, and the courses will not be offered up here, but in Center City. And finally, the application as part and placement are part of the learning process. These are elements that we use everywhere, again, working closely with the student to connect their academic pursuits and their interests to the workplace and revise resumes, revise their statements of interest to help them find the strongest placement and the best connection possible.
Thanks, John, and thank you all again for joining this afternoon's webinar. We're excited for the launch of Intern Philly and the opportunities we hope it will provide to our students. You just heard about the design of the program resembling Arcadia's other internships around the world, but the choice to start a program in Philadelphia was both deliberate and fortunate. So why Philadelphia? Simply, Philadelphia is the nation's 6th largest city, yet provides our students with access to a broadly untapped range of placement opportunities. Philadelphia is young, vibrant, and once again a relevant city, both due to the number of colleges and universities in the area and the sharp increase in modern relevant industry over the last 20 years. Philadelphia retains a greater percentage of its local graduates than other cities of comparable size, like Boston. So this has led to Gen Z students representing a greater percentage of the Philadelphia population compared to other major cities and the national average. In other words, Philadelphia is young and popular, despite many people not realizing it. Philadelphia's wide array of industries, businesses, nonprofits, arts, culture, and unique resources provides an extensive list of placement opportunities for our students. This means nearly every type of placement can be met, and we will have the chance to form new exciting partnerships based specifically around our students' intentions. The population of Philadelphia is diverse and multicultural, and we look at this as another benefit to our students' experiences, both inside and outside of their placement and the classroom. Having a major urban experience at their fingertips can be exciting, but can also be overwhelming. We want to make sure they're getting the most from their time on the program, and it's this principle that will help guide the work that much of our staff does. The other aspect that helps make the launch of Intern Philly so timely is the new strategic direction being taken by Arcadia University's president, Dr. Jay Nair. The hope is for Arcadia to be a vehicle for change and difference in the Philadelphia area, and the challenges the university and the strategy challenges the university to become more committed to programming and outreach. Intern Philly does this. And if all that wasn't enough, Philadelphia is the only U.S. city on National Geographic's list of best places to visit in 2020. So there you have it. So being close to Philadelphia and all it can offer really makes the choice to launch Intern Philly an easy one.
Thanks, Tim. That really is from the mouth of a Philadelphia native. You can tell. Tim's love for Philly shines through on these things. So let me talk a little bit more about the academic structure of the program, which will be offered both for a semester and a summer option. The semester option, internship placements and supervision, will be by our academic staff of Intern Philly. Those individuals are still being hired. We are going through the hiring process right now, and we'll have them on board by March or early April. Placement will take place for 13 weeks during the semester for roughly 340 hours. So during the semester program, they'll get here for a week or so, acclimate, introduce the courses before their placement itself starts, although we will work with students before they arrive to guarantee and have that placement set. INPR 310, the internship course, incorporates the reflection and requires a final paper connecting their work experience with their academic field and presenting that paper. And credits, students will receive 4 credits for INPR 310 and take 2 to 3 subject-based courses for additional credits, for 4 additional credits each. So students will be able to earn 12 to 16 semester hours of credit for the semester program. During the summer, again, we will handle internship placements the same way with our academic staff supervising those placements. Placements in the summer, 3.5 to 4 days per week for 7 weeks, so 185 to 210 total hours. I know that's important at some of your institutions, which do look for minimum number of hours for internship credit requirements. In the summer, INPR becomes a 210 course. It does not involve an academic project or paper anymore, but instead we will have students present on a digital portfolio of their work from their placement. And that INPR 210 then becomes a 3-credit course, and students can enroll in an additional subject-based course for 3 more credits during the summer, so 6 credits possible during the summer option. The courses that are available, as I mentioned, they will use the city as the classroom. They will meet in Center City and will take visits to museums, historical sites, and local organizations focusing on those aspects of the program. The courses are presently on our website, internphilly.arcadia.edu, and we expect to have course syllabi available within the next month or so, but course titles are available at this point. Students can choose up to 3 courses in subjects including art history, communications history, management, and sociology during the semester. During the summer, only 1 course will be offered, 1 subject-based course, and that will be a strategic leadership course, which we hope fits the needs of both students in management and business areas, as well as students just wanting to prepare themselves for careers after graduation. Finally, I do want to touch on that many of the institutions that I have spoken with about Intern Philly have asked about the NACE guidelines and internship agreement, where we stand on those things. Intern Philly does meet the NACE guidelines, as we provide a connection between the placement and academic work through INPR. Learning objectives for the student will be defined and shared through an internship agreement with the employer, and our own Intern Philly staff, who will be located in Center City as well, will be supervising the placement from that academic standpoint and providing feedback, as well as assuring that adequate resources are available at the job site.
So John's outlined the standards and guidelines that we've used to develop this program and really what defines the Arcadia ethos with our internship programs around the world. What I want to discuss is the program eligibility criteria and what the application process is going to look like for your students. As with all Arcadia programs, Intern Philly is open to students who are enrolled in undergraduate programs at colleges and universities in the United States. Our recommended GPA is a 2.8, but we are willing to consider applicants with a 2.5 GPA for both the semester and the summer. As the program manager, I am the first point of contact for the students once they submit an application. As I stated earlier, I do work with students from the point of application to pre-departure, and I have 4 years of experience working with students who apply to our internship programs overseas, particularly in London, Dublin, Edinburgh, and Sydney. So I am familiar with how this process has played out around the world. The role of the program manager in this process is really for students to connect with me in preparation for their program. There is a practical component to it in terms of reviewing the application materials, which I'll speak about in a minute, but it's also to be that contact point for all the types of questions that may arise while a student is thinking about and preparing to go on the program. I connect all of the pieces between Arcadia, the program, the student responsibilities, and the homeschool. So the students are required to complete the application in full, but it is my role to serve the student, answering the questions, providing the guidance on what that looks like. So let's talk about that application process a little bit. For those of you who are familiar with our advisor portal, you may know that there's a student version as well. For those of you who are not, we have an online application management tool that is called Portal. This is the student's digital home for all things related to Intern Philly. In order to submit an application for the program, students will start at the Arcadia application portal, which is at arcadiaabroad.force.com. I've included the link on this slide for easy access once we've concluded the webinar and we share it with you later. From that page, students will register an account, providing basic information about themselves, what school they attend, contact information, major, GPA, and things like that. Once they submit the first part of this application, they will receive full access to Portal, where we catalog resources, contact information for Arcadia folks, and application progress is monitored in the portal. The student will see a greeting and action items related to next steps depending on what stage of the process they are at. The application forms are located in their checklist items in Portal. We break these down between admissions forms and participation forms. The admission forms are the items that are critical in order to receive an admissions decision from me about the program, and I have outlined them here on this slide. The participation forms are ones that are less urgent and are not due on the program application deadline, but they are due before a student starts the program. These include letting us know if they intend to utilize our housing, travel information if applicable, and things like that. As I said, I have been managing these types of programs for several years, and it's very much a holistic process in terms of admitting a student and setting them up for success. This does require a degree of expectation management. This is the type of program that a student is choosing to do in order to receive work experience that will directly correlate to their plans post-graduation, and we take that seriously. Who is the student? What motivates them? Where they see this type of program taking them in the future? When they will be able to work it into their schedule, and how we can pull all of those things together to make it happen. The most important part of this program for a student is the placement itself and how we work to support this. Prior to admitting a student to the program, I review the resume and internship placement questionnaire for each student. We have program standards and guidelines for the resume document that we ask all students to adhere to when submitting their materials, which is one of the things that I look for in reviewing it. I will work with the student to make sure that the edits are made if required, and that these materials are the best reflection of themselves so that they can be reviewed by the academic internship supervisor, who is the person managing their placements. We don't ask for a cover letter or a resume, or we do ask for a resume, sorry. We don't ask for a cover letter or a personal essay for this program. The space where a student can disclose the type of information that they normally would in these spaces is the internship placement questionnaire. This is a document that we use as guidance when working on a placement for a student. It gives them the space to outline their academic and work history, discuss their goals and motivations for the program. It takes an inventory of their skills, asking them what they know, but also what they want to learn, and then gives them the opportunity to identify 3 different fields of interest. They are intentionally broad on the form, largely categorized as fields in the arts, business, communications, public service, and the sciences. But they give the student space to write out what specifically they are interested in so that they can drill down into something more narrow within these broad areas. We ask for 3 fields to give maximum flexibility in finding a placement, and students should expect that we might be looking across all 3 of those fields. This is usually an opportunity for advising and to discuss transferable skills. When we offer a student admission to the program, that is a guarantee that we are going to do the work to secure them an internship placement, not just anywhere, but in one of the fields that has already been identified by them. Some students may come to us to indicate interest working for a specific company because that may be the only name that they are aware of within the industry, as a large corporate brand. It's not that we aren't capable of those types of placements in certain areas, but we specialize in small to mid-sized organizations. Post-admission, students are given the time to confirm their spots on the program. Once they've done so, the academic internship supervisor will begin working on student placements for the semester. This is a process that typically begins 4 to 8 weeks before the program starts. It's a process that we engage the student in. We reach out to organizations on their behalf, we arrange interviews, we share information about where we think that they might be interested and what will be a good fit. We share interview tips and encourage the students to take responsibility for and own their learning process while providing guideposts along the way. Our goal is a qualitative placement, one where the student is given the time and space to learn about the organization or company where they're placed, but also to be able to develop increasing responsibility that will give them the skills and networking capital to thrive in the modern workplace. Ours is an academic program, but the learning outcomes for every student include becoming familiar with and navigating the working life, to become informed and engaged members of their communities, and in this program's particular case, Philadelphia itself, which is an exciting place to be.
So the Arcadia Philadelphia Center will be located in Center City. It's only going to be a short walk from public transportation and easily accessible for our students from their placement locations. As John mentioned, joining me at the center will be an academic director who will oversee our students' placements and an assistant launch director who will help with the day-to-day operations. We plan to announce our new staff in these roles very, very soon. Then in the coming months, we'll bring a student support officer on board to help round out the team. It'll be this person's job to interact with our students around issues of daily student life, help them with their questions, and anything else that might come up. The entire team, along with the faculty members, will help support our students' experiences and help them achieve success. To support the academic design of the program and our street teaching approach, the center will be in close proximity to museums, historical sites, locations of importance, and other things that might be relevant to the course material or to the faculty. The center will also serve as a place of community and for an oasis for our students away from their internships and chaotic urban life, and where they can connect with their fellow students around their shared experiences. Housing for the program will be located on campus at Arcadia University, just a 25-minute train ride from Center City, Philadelphia. The housing is apartment-style housing with a full kitchen and amenities, and arranged so the students on the Philadelphia Internship program will be housed together. Meaning, the Intern Philly students will not be sharing an apartment with other Arcadia University students, but they will be in the same complex. The housing will not include a meal plan, but there's plenty of shopping opportunities nearby campus, and our students will have access to the university's resources on campus, like student health services, the library, and the athletic facilities. Housing is, of course, available to all students on the program, but students are not required to live in program-provided housing. We understand this and expect this from some of our students, and we know we want to make sure that if they opt for a different living situation, they are supported. So in that, all students, whether they live on campus or independent of the arranged housing, will be provided with a transit pass to cover their daily commuting costs. We believe this will help support the commuter mentality of the program and connect them with the reality of many people working in Philadelphia who live in the surrounding area.
Thanks, Tim. So some of the outcomes we expect and students will receive, obviously they will receive an Arcadia University transcript outlining the courses taken to ease the process of transfer credit back to their home school. I think one of the most important aspects is the professional network they will develop, which will be accessible upon graduation. So this is something that actually probably makes Intern Philly a little bit different than what we do in London or Sydney or Athens, because Intern Philly, we would see a lot of the students who would enroll in this program may consider Philadelphia as their ultimate destination where they would want to start a career, and the networks they can create through Intern Philly, whether it's their job placement, their friend's job placement, or people they meet in social events, will provide that framework for a future career or can potentially do that. Certainly, student outcome is experiencing urban life. As Tim pointed out, those who would live up at Arcadia, just the process of commuting every day, but navigating a large city and that whole experience. And finally, it's the transferable skills to apply for life post-internship, post-graduation, that independence, the problem solving, all of the kind of things we look for in study abroad programming, we believe also will be outcomes of what a student experiences after spending a summer or a semester on Intern Philly. We'd be happy to answer any of your questions at this point.
You can use the questions box that you used earlier to let us know that you could hear us to submit them.
All right, we do have one question about finance and scholarship, program costs, and the availability of scholarships. Tim, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So our program fees are listed on our website. As John mentioned, both the summer and the semester fee. The rate or the cost of the summer fee is $4,900, $4,950, and the rate for the fall semester is $12,500. Both of those, it's important to note, do not include the additional cost of accommodation. Accommodation is being charged separate from the base program fee, primarily because we know there'll be a percentage of population of our students who are electing not to live in the provided housing. And again, we think that's okay, and we want to support them through that experience and that choice. Scholarshiping is available, as it is with any program through the College of Global Studies. Students are eligible for scholarship. They are primarily awarded on need base, and it's a straightforward process where students, when they apply for a scholarship, will receive a response from or receive a determination of the outcome of their application within about 2 weeks of applying. We're reviewing scholarships on a rotating basis, so always want to make sure we get back to students with their scholarship decision, because we know for many students it impacts what they want to do for their time participating on the program.
We do have another question about international students and whether or not they would need a visa to participate on this program.
So I'm not the expert on the international student qualifications or requirements, but I do know that as long as a student remains enrolled at their home school, which would be our expectation in most cases because this is an academic program, my understanding is many, if their own major requires an internship or even recommends that, may be able to use a curricular practical training status to be able to do this internship. So yes, by working with a student's home school, we do believe this is maybe a really good option for some international students to be able to access.
I think the other thing, because we're doing customized placements in the internship, is knowing we have an international student, knowing there may be some language challenges, it's something that we believe we can work with through the internship placement process to ensure and secure them a placement that is going to be appropriate based on their language level and their abilities, and making sure the placement provider is aware of this and understands what the challenge or situation may be taking on this student.
Right. We also have a question about the cornerstone course, the intern INPR, and whether that course is why students do not receive credit for the internship itself, and that's absolutely correct. The course, INPR, is where we issue credit. Arcadia does not offer credits for simply participating in an internship, no matter how many hours that may be. It's the reflection and the guidance that is the credit-bearing portion of the program.
And when you are ranking, the clarification on the internship placement questionnaire and ranking the 3 placement areas, a student in STEM who is selecting these areas, it's really an advising point, right? You know, we need to see what it is that they're interested in doing and how narrow that focus is. It is, you know, for a student who really only wants to do one type of thing, that's an opportunity to have a conversation about what their expectations are for the program and the internship placement itself. But depending on what it is that they are looking to do and how broad their interest is across the STEM fields, we should be able to work with them with some, you know, pretty standard exceptions to that rule. You know, for instance, you know, medical contact hours and things like that. But again, it is a point of advising.
So there's a question whether the internship would be available for undocumented students. Again, this comes back down to what John was mentioning again about international students. If the student is continuing on their degree path at their home school, remaining enrolled and working towards their degree, again, this should be a place where the Intern Philly program can support them. Unlike our other programs are abroad, where students are required to obtain visas, that wouldn't necessarily be the case here. Arcadia certainly supports undocumented students when they're on our campus here. So the approach around Intern Philly would be much the same.
Okay, and I think we have one final question about what do we think, who do we think the students are who would be best supported by this type of program? Mary, given your experience with students studying abroad on internships, do you want to speak into that a little bit?
This program, I think, is a good fit for the students who are career focused but are looking to do something different. A guided experience that still gives them the independence and opportunity to explore and do something exciting with either their summer or the semester. Students who may need that extra help, who have limited networks, they need that kind of support exploring career opportunities and don't necessarily have the capital to find that on their own. This program is a great fit for. Philadelphia is also a great city to do it. I've lived in and around Philadelphia my whole life. It's a city that is, it's kind of noted for, its hustle, and it's great. And it's a great fit for that type of student who really just wants to, do the work and get it done.
I think also the program can offer opportunities for the students who may not have a lot of family connections. Finding an internship at international students would be an example of that, possibly. That placement process can be a little bit harder for them. And because we're going to be in a position to guarantee those placements and work so closely with the students accessing our network, I think that's another student type who can really benefit from the program. All right, I think we've answered the questions. I want to thank everyone for their attendance, and we will be making a recorded version of this webinar available, as well as sending out the slides to all of the participants. So thank you very much for joining us today, and have a great afternoon.